Welcome to Computer Vision Streams. I'm your host Anton, and today we will see how we can use LabelStudio for WebUI for configuring Nvdsanalytics. In the previous episode, we have seen all the features of Nvdsanalytics and how to work with them and how to configure them. Let's recall them. First two is two different regions of interest computation. The yellow one, test zone, is just for counting number of objects inside the zone, and the orange one is overcrowding use case that will also generate a Boolean flag with a condition of a number of objects detected in the zone. Next two is connected to the line crossing and the direction detection. For direction detection, we will just check the direction of tracked objects and add this metadata. For line crossing, we can count the number of objects that crossed the line in a specific direction or in both directions. Let's see the configuration file of Nvdsanalytics. So this is the configuration file of Nvdsanalytics, and we see that for each rule, we need to configure the zones in the absolute coordinates given the initial site of config width and config height. And there are also a couple of elements such as inverse region of interest to compute objects outside of the zone or to compute objects inside the zone, object threshold, number of objects to alarm when the number of objects in the overcrowding zone is more than this number. So the problem that it might be difficult without WebUI to configure this zone, and let's see what we can do with LabelStudio. So LabelStudio is an open source data labeling platform. Start playing around, you can just pip install LabelStudio and you can launch LabelStudio. It comes with multiple presets for different types of projects, semantic segmentation with polygons, semantic segmentation with masks, classic object detection, a different labeling for texts, and for image classification, key point number labeling, and so on. And it's also quite flexible, so you can configure those labeling templates on your own. What we will do. So here you see a project in LabelStudio that I already pre-configured, and it has all these 4 specific objects for Nvdsanalytics. And let's see how you can configure those templates. In the settings of a project, in the labeling interface, and also at the beginning of creation of the project, you will see this template page with the visual and the code. So inside the code, you will be able to customize and modify the XML file that will describe what kind of objects you will want to use. Let's take example of ROI filtering polygon. So in ROI filtering for polygon, what we will need is that we will need to have a zone with coordinates. That could be a polygon with multiple points. And also we would like to add the name of the zone, which will be here, and to choose if we will filter objects inside the zone or outside the zone. We define the polygon labels, and polygon labels will cover both use cases, ROI filtering and overcrowding. And then we define additional choices that will be only visible when we will have ROI filter frozen. And here we have two options to inverse ROI or to not inverse ROI or to inverse ROI. And also in the text area for ROI filter, we will have the possibility to give a name to this region of interest. Once we created this project, if you want to create ROI filtering, you can choose ROI filtering, create a zone. Then when you will choose select an object with ROI filtering, you will see additional interface where we can add the metadata for these objects. We can choose to inverse ROI, or we can choose not inverse region of interest, and we can give the name test ROI2 and update our labeling. So for region of interest, it's quite straightforward to convert them, but what we can do with directions, how we can model them with the objects provided by LabelStudio. So I decided to use a rectangle, and the rectangle has also the possibility to be rotated, and the rotation of the rectangle will be used as a direction of line count, or for the direction count, what I have done, I just use the longest side of the rectangle, and the direction will be to the left side of this. So the direction of the vector will be such as the rotation vector in the user interface will be to the left of our rectangle. After that, when you finished labeling, you can export. For example, here you can export as a JSON, which is an internal format for labeling in LabelStudio, or directly for one example, you can show task source. That will give you all the metadata of all the objects. And you can see, for example, we have a ROI filter with this ID 7KH. And we also have a choice with the same ID. So our Python script for conversion to Nvdsanalytics will understand that this is an additional feature of this region. So afterwards, when you can copy this JSON and using simple conversion script to generate from copied JSON, you will be able to generate the Nvidia's config. Next, you can just copy this config to the configuration that you use inside Nvdsanalytics for your pipeline and restart the pipeline. So let's change a couple of zones. So let's better align our direction vector, have the same direction as a road, and also we can do the same for line crossing. And we can put up the overcrowding zone to see this label. So here I already experimented and I already put up the overcrowding zone. Let's better align our direction like that, and our line crossing. Next, we can update our JSON. we can copy our JSON file. Let's recreate our new Nvidia config. And copy that to Nvdsanalytics and restart our file. So here, as you can see, our direction line is aligned with our direction route, and the overcounting zone has a visible label. So in that way, you can simply configure zones for Nvdsanalytics without bothering to compute all the coordinates of the polygon manually. And that is really helpful and can accelerate proof of concept or different demos for cameras. If you would like to have the configuration or conversion script for LabelStudio, don't hesitate to drop the comment down below, and I will send you in the private message. LabelStudio is a great tool that I use in many computer vision projects, especially the video labeling feature that we can cover in the next videos. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe and put the comment down below if you would like to see guides on the other topics. See you in the next video.